Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is video number 1 of 2. Make sure you guys are going to be glued and here for video number 2 later on tonight. There is one way to do that and make sure that you guys are going to be here, and that is by making sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So smash that subscribe button, don't unsubscribe, don't come off it, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded, and you will be here for it. As well as that, to keep up to date on all things Younes Talks Football, you can check out the links in the description to Insta, Twitter and TikTok. They are also on screen for you right now to check out, so enjoy. Let's get cracking. Video number 1, we've got, I would say, what would normally not be really blockbuster news, but it means a lot to Chelsea. So we're going to come to that. There's some other things to discuss even elsewhere. I'll come to that towards the end of the video. But let's start off with the whole Caicedo situation. We've had Fabrizio mention something very interesting. Very interesting. And is it in accordance with what my opinion has been so far? I'd like to think yes, pretty much. Bang on the money. Let's get into it. Here it is. Here's the latest from Fabrizio. There's a possibility that Chelsea could agree a total package worth around £100 million by putting both Caicedo and Sanchez in the same deal. I don't want to act smug or anything, but no, I'm kidding. Look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work that one out, right? But that's been my opinion, and hopefully that would be a deal that Brighton would entertain, although, like I said yesterday, I don't think they'd accept £100 million for both at the moment. Why? Because getting rid of Caicedo means they're not going to get the full fee. There's a 20% sell-on clause on Caicedo. That means 20% goes to his previous club over in Ecuador, Independiente. So thank you to everyone in the comments that clarified that last night. But 20% goes to them. So I can understand now why Brighton are trying to strive for a higher fee, because they're not taking 100% of the fee. They're only taking 80%. So I understand that. But if you put Sanchez in the deal, like I said yesterday, 110, I think that's fair. 110 for both players. Everyone's a winner here, surely. So hopefully we do end up doing business along that sort of line. Let's wait and see what's going to happen since the development of yesterday and Caicedo's comments at the award ceremony that he made privately to a few people there that he wants to leave. Let's hope things get in motion. But I have to ask of Caicedo now, he actually needs to start taking action. Talk is talk, yeah? You've mentioned you want to leave. We all know you want to go. Fantastic. Great. Now, can you make that public to Brighton, please? Can you tell them, listen, I want to go? Can you just accept? Like, start making the moves, put in a request, do what you got to do. And then hopefully we can get this done sooner rather than later. Because whether it's sooner or later, I think it gets done. So that's the most important thing overall. But I would rather sooner than later. So let's hopefully have that happen quite soon. Now let's move on to the big elephant in the room. Talking about big elephants. This guy, man, this guy does not want to depart this football club. No matter what we try and do, this guy, whether it's in our hands, in his hands, out of our hands, things are just not aligning. Now, what do I mean that they're not aligning? Let's get into the latest on this whole Vlahovic, Lukaku, Chelsea, Juventus swap saga. Yeah, it's part of the soap opera that's been going on for how many months now with this guy. We should honestly release a documentary on this. If we have to take this guy, like if we terminate his contract, for example, or we have to pay money or whatever, we can recoup that by releasing a documentary about this guy. You know, release a documentary called This Guy, and then the entire saga. Believe me, people will buy that. You know, $10.99 straight up, easy money. Easy money to recoup the fees that you have to pay to get rid of this guy. So, Chelsea, put me in charge of marketing. I'll sort you out. I'll also get you a sponsor. Anyway, let's here's the latest on Lukaku from Dimarzio. Here's the latest. Juventus and Chelsea will soon be in contact over the Dusan Vlahovic Romelu Lukaku player swap. Juve will open with a €50 million demand, with the aim of closing at closer to €40 million plus Lukaku for Vlahovic. Chelsea have started much lower. Lukaku has agreed already personal terms with Juventus. Interesting. Well, he agrees personal terms like it's nothing. Except unless you're Saudi. Now, there's one development that puts this whole thing into jeopardy. What is it? Well, here's a couple of things. Here's one. Dusan Vlahovic is not willing to leave Juventus. That's from Gazzetta dello Sport. And we also have this Romelu Lukaku has agreed a contract to join Juventus. There are concerns over Dusan Vlahovic's physical fragility in the adductor muscles, pubalgia, if I've said that correctly, and a risk of failure at the medical should he leave Juventus. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. There was a bit of news yesterday that I didn't mention because it didn't seem like it was legit, but I was hesitant. I'm like, I'm not quite sure this is real. But there was a rumour going around that Vlahovic is not open to leaving at all, doesn't want to go to Chelsea. So even if we get rid of Lukaku, we're bringing in a player that doesn't want to be here. And he probably won't even agree personal terms. He wants to stay at Juve. Which means, like I said earlier on, we are back in the situation of whether it's because Lukaku doesn't want to go, whether it's because we can't get rid of the guy to somewhere that we want to get rid of him to, like an Inter, because they've pulled out, or players involved in this deal that's meant to make it happen simply don't want to move. So it's not in our control, it's not in his control, it's third party control that's not even going in our favour. We are stuck with this guy. This is what I wanted to focus on now, because I'm not putting my eggs into this basket now. I genuinely don't think this Juventus thing is going to happen. If Vlahovic is not keen, his medical is a liability as well, then what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Now, look, there's one option that remains on the table. Chelsea need to consider this now. Chelsea need to be logical. They need to be, straight thinking. They got to be direct and they got to be real. Don't try and shy away. There's no other teams interested. We're not close to making any deal with anybody. He's still here. There's one solution. But it comes with consequences. It comes with potential consequences. And that's terminating his contract. We ain't got a choice. If it comes to it, and he's still here by deadline day, right? What are we going to do? Now, there is an alternative here that I know I've seen some of you mention in the comments, and I did not want to entertain this, but I can't help but think, because it's in the back of my head, and I need to pluck it out and put it in the front of my head, because there's a possibility here. Although I still think it's unrealistic, but it's a possibility. So let's entertain it. Some of you reckon that Inter Milan have basically put in this massive ploy to make it look like they're not interested, only to come back in on the final day of the transfer window for a very cheap fee to get Lukaku and prize him away. Right? Now, because it's not going to cost them money. They know we're desperate. We're going to accept, let's face it. Deadline day, it's our last choice. We'll probably take it. But the reason why I don't think that will happen is because as much as it seems like Inter Milan have just switched off from him completely and they feel insulted, their fan base meant it. Now, there's the club, and yes, they might have some sort of majestic plan that all of us have fallen for, right? Maybe they always wanted Lukaku. Maybe all of this that we've seen is just one massive storyline. It's not true, right? Them pulling out and feeling insulted and saying, we don't want you. Maybe all of that is a ploy to just get him very cheaply at the end. Yeah, it's a possibility. Inter Milan are capable of things like that, right? I'm not saying they're not. But their fans have already come out and said, this guy's a disgrace. Did you see the scathing attack from the Inter fans on Lukaku? If this guy walks back into their football club, riots are going to take place. Trust me, they won't need anyone to demolish the San Siro. The fans will do it for them. It's as simple as that. So this is where I'm looking and thinking, Inter Milan are not going to take that risk, surely. They're not in urgent need of a Lukaku. They don't need him. Well, I should be saying they do. I want to get rid of this guy. And as I said, I'd get rid of him for a packet of crisps at this point, but I genuinely don't think Inter are going to come back in for that 1 point alone. So yes, it's a theory, and it's a credible theory, and I can see why it's definitely a possibility. But if it wasn't for the fans, I would be saying yes. The fans have made it clear they despise him now. He's a mercenary. He's basically the Antichrist to them now. So yeah, we are stuck with this guy now. If we're stuck, we might just need to entertain a contract termination here, or try and come to a mutual agreement. That way, he's free, can do what he wants. We're free, where we can do what we want. Try and come to an amicable compromise. End it friendly, and then see you later. But if we don't, I guess Chelsea will have to take the damage. It's as simple as that. At this point, we're stuck. This has been the worst contract and worst transfer in the history of football. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's move. Let me know your thoughts down below on this whole saga. We move to another potential target for Chelsea. Here it is. Michael Olise still has a £35 million buyout clause in his contract, and Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino has already spoken to him. So this whole saga about Kudus, Olise, like I did mention yesterday, it seemed like we're heading more in the direction of Olise now, as we are looking at him as an attacking midfielder rather than a winger, in order to rotate with Nkunku or be an option there to play alongside or with Nkunku. So it's a case of trying to make this happen between Kudus or Olise, and I think it's going to be Olise now. The Mail have said we've already made contact. A £35 million buyout clause is in his contract. I thought there wasn't any clause anymore. I thought that was previous. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but he won't cost an arm and a leg. Maybe just an arm. It'll be all right. So let's see how this one's going to play out. I do think we get one of them down the window. Pochettino's already said that we are expecting more signings. So as much as that's going to trigger a lot of fans because we're throwing money at the problem, there's no problem. We're trying to get ourselves back to our feet, and we are already in the process of doing that. And trust me, you will see in that first game against Liverpool. You will see. Now, talking about Liverpool, they were winning 2-0 against Bayern Munich, and it's 2-2, I think. And I'm going to check the score live for you guys right now, just to see if they've actually conceded, because their defence has turned into absolute butter. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. No, it's 3-2 Liverpool. Fair play. Fair play, Luis Diaz scored. But the way that they were 2-0 up, and then they just easily conceded. Why? Because Matip doesn't know what he's doing, and that defence just got sliced open very, very easily. That's something that Chelsea need to take into consideration, although I do think that Liverpool will be starting with Konate rather than Matip in that defence when they do play against Chelsea on the 13th. So we've got to bear that in mind. But Liverpool scoring 3, conceding 2, Bayern Munich. It's an indicator. They don't look blockbuster, but they look good on the attack. Can we manage that? They look open in the defence. Can we exploit? So let's hope we do. Let's see what's going to happen and how this game's going to end. And Chelsea, later on tonight, tomorrow morning, technically 1:30 a.m. So the match review will be out tomorrow morning for that. So make sure you guys are here. Now, let's move to what's happening elsewhere. We finally have a breakthrough on Josko Gvardiol. Here it is. Man City have now total agreement with RB Leipzig for defender Josko Gvardiol. The fee is 90 million euros. Guardiola really wanted the Croatian and loves his modern way of defending. RB Leipzig will also secure a friendly match with Man City as part of the deal, reports Bild. Amazing how they've made that as part of the deal. We're giving you Gvardiol. Can we play a friendly though? Yeah? Can we stick that in the contract? Mad. Anyway, Fabrizio's confirmed it. Now here we go. Man City and Leipzig are ironing out final details of agreement for Josko Gvardiol deal to be signed by end of the week. Player to have medical on Friday if all goes to plan. Deal in place for 90 million euro fee. Gvardiol set to become the most expensive centre-back ever. Quite astonishing in terms of the fee. However, this deal, I think, was always going to happen eventually at some point. It's just a case of Leipzig not wanting it to be leaked early. I like how Fabrizio's gone, player to have the medical on Friday, if all goes to plan. He's making sure he puts that in there just in case, because he blew it the first time. But this deal is looking like it's going to happen. So, Gvardiol on his way to Manchester City, just in time for the start of the season. They needed that, and they've got it. So it seems like it's all going to go to plan. Let's see how this is going to transpire towards the end of the week after he does have a medical. If he does, then he will be an official Manchester City player. So let me know your thoughts. Gvardiol to City, down below. I think it's a good buy. Very, very good buy for them, and will help stabilise that defence a little bit more in terms of its solidity. So let's see what happens there. News from Barcelona. Here it is. Barcelona manager Xavi has confirmed that Ousmane Dembele will join PSG. It hurts me because we took care of him to make him happy here, but we can't compete. He's leaving. I love how they've said we can't compete. They've made it just public that we don't have money. We can't compete. We can't keep this guy here. We can't tempt him. He's gone. And Barcelona haven't taken that very well. They felt betrayed by the way that he's left the club there. I'm in no position to make any comment in terms of whether he has betrayed them or not. I think an opportunity's come. PSG have come in. He said yes, and he's gone. You deal with it. Simple as that. You deal with it. That's the modern game, and that's football now. So yeah, that's the latest on this whole saga. And Dembele going to PSG. It's a done deal. Let's see how he's going to play at PSG. I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing over there. But his injuries, the way that he's not been consistent. He's not been blockbuster. He had a big fee at Barca. Barca lost a lot of money. Yeah, it's not looking good. PSG, Luis Enrique might have a plan. Let's see how it's going to turn out. Let me know your thoughts, Dembele, on to PSG and what you think he's going to do over there. And to wrap up, a massive congratulations to none other than these lot. Jamaica knock out reigning Copa America champs Brazil to reach the round of 16. Heroic, massive congrats to Jamaica for making the round of 16, knocking out Brazil in a 0-0 draw. That's unheard of because it's Jamaica's first time that they're reaching the knockouts. They had to generate a GoFundMe in order to afford to make the trip to this World Cup, and they're knocking out Brazil. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So huge congrats to Jamaica. Nigeria have also qualified. South Africa have also qualified. These countries that everyone wasn't really paying attention to are in the last 16. So massive congrats. Brazil, one of the favourites, out of the tournament early. So yeah, looking forward to seeing where this is going to go. England play Nigeria in the last 16. That's going to be a cracker. And hopefully the Chelsea girls end up doing us proud and doing us well. So let's see how that's going to transpire. Let me know your thoughts on Jamaica knocking out Brazil in the comments if you are watching the Women's World Cup. And there we are, people. Thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget, video number 2 later on tonight. Make sure you're here. The one way to do it, as I've said, is to make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell as well to be notified once I've uploaded. And don't forget the social media links in the description. Instagram at Younes Talks Football, Twitter at Y Talks Football, and TikTok at Younes Talks Football. On top of that, making sure you are hitting those links in the description to be directed over there and hit us with the follow. Keep up to date all Younes Talks Football. So much appreciated, people. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you tonight for video number 2. Have a good one, people. See you then. Take care and peace.